there, YouTube? I'm back again today for another game review. And today I'm very excited to check out Cat Lady from AEG. This is for 2 to 4 players. Ages 14 plus. It'll take you about 30 minutes to play. And in Cat Lady, you are going to be playing as, well, a cat lady. You're going to be collecting cats and collecting cat toys and collecting catnips and picking up stray cats that will give you special abilities or different ways to score points at the end of the game. And this is a very light, simple drafting game where you are going to try and get a lot of cats and feed those cats so they don't die. It's light, it's simple, it's drafting, but it's good. Let's open it up and I'll tell you what I think. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Cat Lady. So first and foremost, we're going to get a handy dandy rule booklet. It is 7 pages, double-sided, full color, full of pictures, illustrations, examples, and it's pretty straightforward. Should have you up and running in no time at all, so thumbs up on the rule booklet. So in Cat Lady, what you're going to be doing is you're going to try to get the most victory points by drafting cats, by drafting food, by drafting catnip and toys, and feeding those cats at the end of the game. This is a very simple drafting game where you're going to be drafting a variety of different things to get different points, different ways to get different points. What am I talking about? Let's go over the components. We'll go over the gameplay. So first we got cubes, more cubes down here. You got white cubes, which is milk. You got red cubes, which is chicken. You got blue cubes, which is tuna. You got purple cubes, which is whatever food you want it to be. So these are cubes. This is how you're going to feed your cats. Next, you are going to have these cards that are going to be put out in a 3x3 grid out here. There's a variety of different cards that you will come into contact with here, so I'll just show you all the cards. So first you have a spray bottle. This is going to allow you to discard or to move the cat token, and I'll explain that one more in a minute because it'll make more sense then. So this is socks right here. This is a cat. At the end of the game, if you have 2 blue cubes, 1 white cube to feed this cat, you'll score 6 victory points. If you ever cannot feed a cat completely, then you will lose 2 points. So this cat and this cat, if you don't feed them, no matter what, you're going to lose 2 victory points for Lily and 2 victory points for Socks for not feeding them. So there'll be different cats. The important thing to note about the cats are the victory points, what you need to feed them, and also the color of them, because various different cards will score you points for the color of your cat, which we'll see in a little bit. This is a chicken card. If you draft this card, you're going to take a red cube and you're going to discard this card. It's pretty self-explanatory. There's also tuna cards and milk cards. Some of these will even have 2X on them, which means you'll get 2 chicken or 2 tuna or 2 milk, which is pretty obvious. Next, you have lost cat cards. If you have 2 of these cards, and you can see we have one in the middle right here, you are going to discard both those when you want to, and you can gain 2 victory points, just a flat 2 victory points, which are these tokens right here, which is great, or 1 stray cat. And I'll talk more about these stray cats after I get done with these cards, but the stray cats are a way to score big points. They do a lot of really cool stuff. They're really neat cards. Next, you have costumes, which is just a set collection 1. Whoever has the most costumes at the end of the game is going to get 6 victory points. If you have none, you lose 2 victory points. That's important to note right there. So you want to make sure you get at least 1 of those. Speaking of which, we have catnip, which once again, if you have 0 catnip, or if you only have, or excuse me, if you have 1 catnip, you're going to lose 2 victory points. If you have 0 catnip, nothing bad happens. 2 to 3 or 4 catnips, and you're going to start scoring points. So if you get 4 catnips, that's 8 points. That's a good deal of points right there. Did you do any other cards? Oh, last but not least, we have toys. And you're trying to collect different toys. So for instance, right now, if I had this yarn, this scratching post, this feather wand, and this cat tower, which would be 4 different toys, I would score 8 points for all those toys. Now, if I had just the 2 scratching posts, I would only score 2 points. I would score 1 point for this scratching post and 1 point for this scratching post. So you can have different sets of toys, but toys are a viable way to score points in the game. Any other cards in here? Not that I believe so. Yeah. Pretty sure we went through all the various different things. So let's talk about these stray cat cards down here, because these are really cool cards that will do various different things. Some of them will score you flat number of points. So for instance, if you feed Moonbeam here, you're going to get 3 points. You may use any 2 foods as wild. So that's pretty useful as well. So if you feed him, then you're going to be able to use 2 foods as wild. Why? I'm not sure thematically how that works. Next, we have Cow. You may feed Cow any number of food, and she is worth 2 victory points for each. So she can be worth a lot of points if you have a lot of food at the end of the game. So having Cow can kind of change how you're going to play the game. Next, we have Florence over here. Florence is worth 2 points for each orange cat you feed. So if you have a lot of orange cats, or even cats with orange and white, like this cat right here, then you are going to score points. So that's going to focus on which cats you might want. So this cat is all the different colors. So it's black, blue, black, orange, and white. This cat right here, if you feed the most cats, it's going to be worth 7 points. And if you don't, it's only going to be worth 3 points, which 3 points is still good as well. So various different stray cats will do various different things. But let's talk about how the actual game is played, because it's a very simple game. So on your turn, you are going to take this cat token right here, and you are going to take either a row or column of cards, and that's it. So for this one, I think I would probably take this one right here. This seems like a really good row. It's going to get me a food. It's going to get me 2 toys, and I'm going to put these in front of me, so that's great for me. And then since I got this food, this chicken, I'll throw the chicken card away, and I get myself 1 red cube, and that's my entire turn. There we go. That's my hand right there. So now what you're going to do is you're going to leave the cat where it is, and you're going to replenish these 3 spots right here, which, wow, that's a great row right here. But here's the thing. The next player cannot take this column. They have to go here, 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 or here. So the cat kind of blocks where the next person can go. That's where the spray bottle comes into play. So let's say I really want those toys. And what I could do is, boom, spray bottle, move the cat to wherever, then take my turn, and then I could take all 3 of these, which, you know, if it happened to be going to my turn, that would be fantastic, because now I have 4 different toys in my first turn and a catnip. So I might just start collecting catnips and toys and going for points. But anywho, you're going to continue to do this, moving the cats around and drafting cards until you cannot refill a row, at which point the game ends immediately. Once you do that, you are going to total up your points. So you'll get points for catnips, you'll get points for costumes, you'll get points for toys, you'll get points for feeding your cats, and you'll also lose points for not feeding your cats. There's one more last scoring condition, which is whoever has the most wasted food at the end of the game. So let's just say I had these 4 food cubes left that I didn't feed my cats. They're going to lose 2 victory points. Whoever has the most points will be the winner of Cat Lady. And that, in a nutshell, is how the game is played. Alrighty then, Cat Lady from AEG. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros. Let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, game's not going to be for everybody for a variety of different reasons. First and foremost, 2 to 4 players, restricted player count. Also, another con that I have in this game is that it is repetitive. You're going to be doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. On your turn, all you're going to do is you're going to draft. Yes, you may pick up a stray cat, or you may spray bottle something, but for the most part, you're going to be doing the same thing repeatedly until the game ends, which will be a turn off to a lot of people. Another con that I have in this game is that most of the decisions you make on your turn are pretty straightforward decisions. There might be 1 or 2 good choices for you, and you're just like, which one of those choices do I want to make? So for the most part, it's pretty straightforward decisions thinking that you're going to be making in this game. Another comment I have in this game is that I wish there was a player reference card, especially 4 player reference cards, because there are some rules that feel just a little bit fidgety and might get left behind and forgotten until the end game scoring, and people are like, oh, I forgot about that. For instance, the fact that if you don't use your food wisely, and if you have the most food, you lose 2 victory points. Somebody always tends to forget that rule at the end of the game. Also that, oh, I could have done this instead of doing that. I forgot that you had to have, I forgot that the costumes, for instance, you know, you had to have the most. You score nothing if you don't have the most, and I probably would have drafted differently. There's just a lot of little tiny rules, especially if you're playing with youngins, that they might forget. So a player reference card would have been nice. Any other cons that I have with the game? You know, it says ages 14 plus. Completely ignore that. I was playing this with 8-year-olds with no problem. No, just know that going into this game, it's not a heavy or complex or difficult strategy game. It's very light. It's very simple. Moving on to the pros, I very pleasantly was surprised by Cat Lady, and I can recommend Cat Lady. And yeah, you're surprised. I'm surprised. We're all surprised. Kids in my class love this game. They really enjoyed this. I played it with kids that were 8 to 10 years old, and this is one of their favorite games that they had played in the last couple weeks of the stuff that I brought home from Gen Con, which is really kind of surprising to me. And I happen to agree. I had a lot of fun playing it with them as well. But it's not just a family weight game as well. I still think it's a good lightweight filler game. It plays well at all the different player counts. I enjoyed it at 2 players just as much as I enjoyed it at 4 players. Even though I did like it better at the higher player counts, because then there's a little bit more competition for those toys and for the costumes and the catnip and whatnot. I didn't feel like there was one dominant strategy to the game. I really like the stray cats and how each one of the stray cats seemed like a really cool, viable option, especially if you get those stray cats early in the game, and then you can kind of focus your strategy, fine-tune your strategy a little bit to getting certain things that are going to help you score points based on the stray cats. I like the fact that there was just enough stuff going on to keep me interested and make it so that it's still a good game night filler game, you know, with the catnip and with the toys and with the costumes and with the stray cats. There was just enough little extra stuff going on that it made it interesting for both adults, but not too difficult for children. I think this is a good gateway game. I think this is a good family weight game. I think this is a good, not a children's game, because I don't think kids could probably play this game by themselves unless they were, you know, I'd say 9, 10 or older. But if they are, then yeah, you could mark this as a kid's game as well if they're old enough. That's a big if. Easy to learn, easy to teach. The artwork really drew the kids in. I personally like the artwork. It's cute. It's got the cats. I like the fact that the cats look sad, the ones in costumes, because you shouldn't put animals in costumes. That personally cracks me up a little bit. But in the end, Cat Lady, yes, very surprising recommendation. I will be keeping this game. I'm going to bring it into my classroom. I'm going to play it with my family as my kids get older, and it might even hit the table as a game night filler game from time to time. So Cat Lady from AEG, definitely a very solid game that I can recommend. It's going to get played in a couple different situations, I think. And yeah, so wholeheartedly recommend this one. That is Cat Lady from AEG. If it looks like it might be a cup of tea, be sure to check that one out. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know. Costumes on animals, yay or nay? For me personally, no. Free the animals. They should be naked. We should all be naked, but obviously that's probably not going to fly. So animals, at least, they should be naked. We should not be putting clothes on animals, except for hats. I kind of like hats on animals. that looks pretty funny, and that's practical. It keeps sun out of their eyes. So yes, aside from hats, no clothes on animals. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.